Another voicemail to get to here from our friend. Want to talk a little bit about the Miami Hurricanes, what they got going here ahead of 2025. Listen to his take.
Hey, JD. My name is Evan. The diehard Canes fan, season ticket holder since 1998. My unpopular opinion is that we get over the hump. Carson Beck balls out. Our defense takes a major step up. We end up beating Clemson for the ACC title, finally. And we make the college football playoffs. Go Canes.
So this is an intriguing one. Speaking to Miami getting over the hump. I don't think it's so much about Miami getting over the hump as much as I think it's actually about them making that last push to get to the summit. We'll talk about it now. If you're a Miami fan, make sure you are subscribed. If you want more Miami Hurricane content, the way to let us know that is by subscribing. So supply and demand go hand in hand. Same deal on this channel. If you're a Miami fan and you want more Hurricane content, go ahead and make sure you are subscribed. But back to what I was saying, I think people look at Miami as a team that's had expectations and beat their head against a wall, and I think that's probably an accurate statement to a degree, but Miami hasn't actually been knocking on the door. They've been continuing to climb the mountain. You go 5-7, you go 7-5, you win 10 games last year. Like, Miami is just now, I think, getting to a spot where they can push for that hump, push for the summit of the mountain. Like, whenever you make a final push for the summit of a mountain, I've only climbed one mountain in my life. It was Mount Rainier in Washington. It was probably the hardest physical thing I've ever done. But when you get ready for that summit push, you kind of reset a little bit. You kind of check what you got in the bag. You make sure all the equipment's properly stowed. You make sure you got all the snacks, whatever you might need for that final push. You make sure you're ready to make a sprint for that thing. I think that's what Miami has done this offseason. What do you do? You go get a quarterback. Okay, cool. We got that. Need a defense. Got to at least improve there, right? You can't be as bad as you were last year and expect to be as good as you were a year ago on a wins-loss perspective. Okay, core roster talent of recruited guys. You're now going into another year under Cristobal. Francis Mauanoa, Ruben Bain. They've started to elevate. We talked to Cristobal about that. Your portal adds, Keelan Marion from BYU. I told you I love that get for them. Marty Brown, running back from North Dakota State. Freshman FCS Player of the Year last year. Jerry Rice Award. You got another guy in the backfield there to help you. All of this there to where I think they've packed accordingly. I think they're properly equipped. I love the urgency from Miami. I love the fact they're saying, won 10 games last year. We're not going to sit back and ride this thing in. We're going to take that momentum and try to capitalize here. Go get the portal. Go get Carson Beck. Go push to make our defense better. All those things. Now, it would have been irresponsible if they didn't go get someone to improve that defense. So big get for them getting Corey Heatherman and retooling that staff. But you see what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and say that this ends up being a reality. And Miami does win the ACC over Clemson, which we'll get to in a second. That would make Miami so dangerous for the rest of college football. I don't know that we totally understand how dangerous it would be. First of all, it's a billboard to the high school talent in the state of Florida, which we talk about ad nauseum here, but I think it's real. You can not just pitch, the resources and what Miami has to offer and the brand and the projection. You can pitch development. You can pitch winning. You can pitch what the future is going to be because of what you just won. You're not trying to paint this picture of the future. You're showing them your ACC title ring and saying, why would you go anywhere else? You can stay home. You can bring this place back to where it's supposed to be. And by the way, it's already back at that spot. We just want to keep pushing this thing forward. You're not taking the same risk on Miami that maybe you were taking a couple years ago when Miami was still trying to figure it out those first few years under Cristobal. As importantly, it is kind of turns into like the quarterback P90X, doesn't it? You got some before and after to go to. Isn't that kind of what you see whenever you have someone pitching you on like this new diet or this new workout plan? Here's what they were before. Here's what they were after. Here's what Cam Ward was before Miami. Here's what he was after. Number 1 overall pick. Here's what Carson Beck was before Miami. Here's what he was after. First round pick. Because I have to believe if Miami wins the ACC, they're doing it because Carson Beck is slinging that thing. That's what the offense is built to do. It's built to push the ball downfield, power run scheme within that, but they want to take shots vertical. So Carson Beck, if they win the ACC, I happen to feel like he probably played like a first-round pick and probably played his way into being a first-round pick. Just my own opinion on that. Now, one last thing I'll say here that would, I think, make Miami more dangerous. The way things can snowball after some success, I think we overlook that in college football, especially if there's some staying power with the way you're acquiring your roster talent and all those things. it's a big deal to prove it to the external, for sure. But I think to prove it to the people in your building, the internal side of things, to validate your process, validate the way that you've done things, validate your strength and conditioning, all those things. Like, it's kind of like the children's book, Give a Mouse a Cookie. Give a mouse a cookie, gonna want some milk. Give a mouse some milk, he's gonna want to have a bedtime story. You give Miami an ACC championship, they're gonna be hungry for more. They're gonna feel like, okay, we've done this, let's build on top of that. Let's go get another ACC title. Let's go win a national championship. All those things, to me, combined, the momentum of this whole thing will be really, really dangerous, because look at Texas. It's the same deal. Everyone's saying how they're, just because of their brand, they get notoriety, or their talent, they get notoriety. I mean, they go out there and they win the Big 12, and then what happens the next year? Go play for the SEC their second year. It was the same kind of series of events. Subpar season, mid-season, good season, make the playoff. Another good season, make the playoff in year 4 under Sark. So all that's to say, the trend of it all would be very, very impactful for the rest of college football. Now, I want to talk about the last thing he mentioned there. If they beat Clemson for the ACC title, I understand we're putting a lot on the hypotheticals here, but let's unpack this. Clemson right now is the favorite in the ACC to win the conference. If you beat Clemson, I think it would be the ultimate legitimizer of what Miami is. It's kind of like when you make sure that just the ID isn't fake. Like if Miami were to roll out there and beat some upstart North Carolina team, I'm knocking Chapel Bill, but let's just say that happens. North Carolina goes on a run, plays for the ACC title, Miami gets the ACC title, and then beats them. It's like, well, that was awesome, but that was a first-year head coach and Bill Belichick playing college football, or coach college football, and it's a roster they put together in somewhat via the portal and some lesser talent. Like Miami probably has a better roster talent than North Carolina. But you beat Clemson, who made the playoff last year, who won the ACC last year, who is the number one returning production in college football. Like there's a lot there to where I don't think you could argue that Cristobal and what he's done there isn't going to be legitimate going forward. So the momentum, the quarterback billboard, the high school recruiting billboard for the state of Florida, all that to me would be very, very dangerous. And if it happens, it's because of that summit push that this staff and Mario Cristobal made sure they went and got via the portal and made sure they retooled at the recruiting level. So it's possible. I think they will be right there in the mix, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds here in 2025.